Hey, welcome back, Team Keesler. It's Chief Esparza and Colonel Hunter with our second episode of What is a Focus-Driven Warrior. We got two outstanding airmen over here. Chief, you want to introduce them?
I do. So this is Airman Kaylee Exum. She is one of our outstanding medics over at the 81st OMRS, the Operational Medical Readiness Squadron, and Airman Bret Mixson, who is one of our awesome defenders in the 81st Security Forces Squadron. We're really excited that the two of you are here with us today. And we can't wait to have a conversation about what it means to be a focus-driven warrior.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so it's always exciting to have two young airmen.
It is.
You know, and just, you've been in like a year, you've been in 2 years. And so when you hear that, what is a focus-driven warrior, you know, what comes to your mind?
Well, for me, a focus-driven warrior is someone who I feel is determined, who sets goals and achieves those goals. Is once you're on the pedal, you never let up. That's what I've always heard. And then from basic training, you're taught your core values: service before self, excellence in all we do, and it's just something that you live by.
Excellent. How about you, Airman Mixson?
Absolutely. So like Airman Exum just said, focus-driven warrior being someone that's always ready, always focused and determined. To me, is someone that's always ready no matter what. They don't have to get ready because they stay ready. You know, they're always, whatever's thrown at them, they're ready to tackle it at any time. So they can face any adversity and continue to press on.
It's interesting because our first episode, we were with a chief and a senior master sergeant, and the chief and I have been in a long time. So as you guys made the transition from a civilian to now wearing the uniform and being in the profession of arms, how has that transition been for you, Airman Mixson?
It's been pretty smooth. It's a little bit of culture shock when you first get to basic training. Obviously, it's different. Waking up getting yelled at every morning, things like that. It's not comfortable, but you get into the swing of things, and then from transitioning from the training world to the operational world, Keesler, I mean, leadership here welcomes you with open arms. They have, at least for our squadron, they had an awesome training unit that took care of us, made sure we were capable, fit for duty before they actually put us out there and threw us to the wolves, you know. So we were well prepared before they put us out there to start defending the base.
Outstanding. How about
Definitely. You? I agree. It's definitely a culture shock. Whenever you join the military, I didn't have any expectations because none of my family's military. So it was going from high school to not knowing anything. So you find a sense of purpose when you join the military. I feel like it sets you on a path, and it sets you up for success of knowing who you are and who you want to be.
So now that both of you have been in Keesler for about a year-ish, at least maybe a little bit more, and you see that we have really put a lot of emphasis on being focus-driven warriors, do you have conversations in your work centers or with your peers about what that really means, and what kind of feedback do you get from that?
Our work center talks a lot. We're really, I want to say, together. We always have conversations. We have a morning huddle every morning. Everyone checks on each other. So I feel like for us, a focus-driven warrior is someone who sets goals and expectations and achieves them, and someone who goes out there and doesn't just learn your job, but learns other people's jobs. We need you everywhere, and the Air Force is definitely an do everything job.
Airman Mixson?
Absolutely. So the posters that you came out with, Colonel Hunter, talking about the 4 pillars and grit and everything, we have them posted up in our gate shacks and everything. So every day when we're at work, you know, we go in there and we clean our gate shacks up and we look at everything on the walls and everything. So we look at that poster every day. We see it every day we're at work. So we definitely talk about it. Obviously, the Wings mission is our mission. You know, that's the biggest thing for us, is accomplishing that mission. So we're definitely devoted to that.
So Airman Mixson is talking about the mission, vision, priorities roadmap, or the placemat. That's awesome. Good. I'm glad y'all are talking about that. So Airman Mixson, you mostly work at our gates. You are one of the very first people that somebody sees when they're coming to Keesler Air Force Base. And you're trusted to be that focus-driven warrior at the gates. Tell us a little bit how that feels when you're defending the perimeter of Keesler Air Force Base.
So definitely have to be squared away and professional at all times. Like you said, we're the first face that everyone sees, you know, so it's not going to look well if we're slouched over, not motivated, just hanging out. So definitely have to look each other over in the mornings. We do guard mount and everything, pass on all the important information. We look each other over, make sure we're all squared away before we go out there. So we try to do our best to make sure that we are professional at all times, and we don't have anything that could come back on us. You know, we make sure that we're always squared away, and We have a formal greeting. There's not going to be any complaints on our behalf, So
That's great. One, and from the medical side, I mean, you guys serve such a wide population, right? It's
Definitely.
not just the active duty. We have a retirement home down the street. We have the VA center, and you're a teaching hospital. And so as you guys kind of incorporate that mission, vision, priorities, you guys talking about that, and like how do we make sure that we are presenting that professional face? Because each one of us, we're a recruiter, whether we want to be or not. And so how we kind of own that and bring that positive attitude every day will affect how the people that interact with us think about us.
Definitely, I agree. And I'm glad that you brought that up, the topic of the training hospital, because we get phase 2 students for 4N every day. So they come in and we have the poster hanging on the wall too. So if they ask us questions or just being that bright-eyed, bushy-tailed airman, it helps other people especially whenever they're coming in and they're brand new to the military and they've never been here before and they have no idea what to expect with the military. It's good to learn from an airman or someone who's just living in the dorms of what their life will be like.
So on your journey of continuing to be a professional airman, because you guys are early in that, and so a lot of times I talk about attitude, competence, and effort, right? So having a positive attitude, giving 100% effort, and being competent in what the nation's asking of you. Do you guys think about that? And is that how you approach the job when you show up?
Yes, sir. So I actually chose the career field. It didn't choose me. So I was excited to get out here, So I'm not just out here going through the motions, Every day when I come to work, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here, and I want to give 110%. So I think that definitely keeps me focused and motivated in my day-to-day operations. So.
How about you, Airman Exum?
Definitely. I think that you're instilled in basic training with the expectations in a way of what you should be and how you should act. And I feel like even whether you have a long tech school or a short tech school, you know the foundations of where you come from and what you stand for. And I feel like you should always wake up every morning and like, oh, today's going to be a really bad day, but I know what I'm fighting for. I know what my purpose is in the military.
So kind of maintaining that warrior ethos. We talk about warrior ethos, and you guys have a good sense of what that means. Do you see that around with your senior NCOs, your officers? They're kind of, representing that too, because that's how we're going to retain people, right? Like if we're not all kind of bought into that, what it means to be in the profession of arms, because we all join for different reasons, whatever your reasonings were for joining. But once you're part of this thing, like, do you get that sense of purpose each day?
Yes, sir. So especially with security forces, you know how broad that career field is. We have people in our leadership from so many different bases and so many different locations, and they've all come from different sides of the career field, whether it be law enforcement or security or nuclear protection, things of that nature. So they all bring something different to the table, but they're all like-minded in that sense. They want to push out, they want to train warriors. They want people that are motivated, that want to be here, that are focus-driven warriors. So that's definitely the common goal around our squadron, is to push that down to our younger airmen or younger NCOs and things of that nature.
Okay.
Definitely. I think that whenever you set expectations, when you come into an area or to a section, you start off on the right foot. You know what you're supposed to be doing every day. You know your daily tasks. And like you said, coming from different areas, everyone has something different to bring to the table. It's really good to be open-minded and open-eared to learn all the new things, tricks, and tips that you can learn on how to make everything better.
All right.
So I feel like I know why Airman Mixson and Airman Exum are our first airmen. I mean, you all think light years ahead of where I did as an airman, and I'm always so proud and excited when we have these conversations, because you get it. You get it early in your careers. You understand, and it's going to take you so far. And so, pretty excited about that, and I can't wait for your families and your peers to watch this video and see the people that they know and they love talking about something that's so important.
I think the other thing is remembering that we're all leaders, right? So the fact that you guys have been in such a short time but have a great perspective on what it means to have a warrior ethos, I mean, your influence amongst your peers and even your superiors as they see how you approach the job every day is inspiring. I mean, one of the great things about being stationed at Keesler is just driving around this base. I've been in this uniform for a long time, but driving around the base and seeing people march tall and proud and just being proud to put this uniform on it. And already in the short time you've been in, I see your sense of pride, and so that's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
So how are you going to keep that momentum?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a great question. Once you're on the pedal, you can't let up, is what I've always heard. Whenever you get to a base, everyone's always like, oh, you got to do this, and then they let up. But for me, it's not about the package or the awards. It's about knowing my sense of purpose and always putting my best foot forward. I'll never turn in sloppy work or not do something because I just don't feel like it for that day. I feel like once you know what you're supposed to do and you set those expectations, you shouldn't backstep. You should always put your best foot forward.
Exactly like she just said. Once you have an idea of what the expectation is, you can never drop below that. That is the expectation. And there's a saying, diversity is inevitable, but defeat is optional. So you're always going to have stuff thrown at you. Like you got grit on that poster. And a warrior has to have grit. You're going to get knocked down many, many times. But as long as you get back up and accomplish the goal, or you set out that mission you have, as long as you continue to strive for that and you reach that, that's all that matters. So
Definitely.
Well, sir, that's pretty exciting.
Well,
It's awesome.
Man, I'm inspired, Chief. It's awesome to be around such professional young airmen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning.
Thank y'all. It's a great opportunity.
it's an awesome opportunity.
Well, good stuff. So, Team Kiesler, hopefully you enjoyed this video and the podcast. It's great. We'll be at this each month. We'll have different guests in here and just showcasing the professional airmen that we have out here at the 81st Training Wing. Chief, what you got for them?
So just remember, thank you again, viewers and listeners. You can find the videos on our social media pages for what is a focus-driven warrior, and you can also find it on podcasts, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.
All right, Team Kiesler, be focused, be driven, and be warriors. See you soon.